Hey everyone, Jeff Rosen here with your daily DLP. It is Saturday, February 7th. Hope you're enjoying the weekend. It's Super Bowl Eve. Get the Super Bowl tomorrow. Won't have a daily show tomorrow. Doing some other things, and plus it's Super Bowl. Lions aren't in it. Chris and I talked about that the other night. It's sort of anticlimactic. I'll watch, of course, but yeah. I'll get back at it Monday and Tuesday, actually, will probably be episodes with guests. But let's get into this, because yesterday, the end of yesterday's show, where I talked about new tight ends coach Steve Oliver and Jim Schwartz quitting the Browns with good cause, Panay getting snubbed. And Max Crosby as the prospect of the day. After that, I talked about we're going to do Max Crosby today because it's been a massive topic throughout the Lions blogosphere. And by the way, it's not just the Lions. Look at the Bengals, look at the Cowboys, look at the Patriots, who are even talking about it, even though they're in the Super Bowl. The Falcons have come up as a team that will allegedly have interest. But Max Crosby, Raiders star, their best player. Raiders are a terrible football team. They're picking first in the draft, and one of the reasons they are is because they're not very good around Max. 28 years old, from Lapeer, Michigan, Eastern Michigan University. Still think they should be the Hurons, but they're the Eagles. That's okay. Had the pleasure to see him play at Eastern back in the day. And he has become one of the NFL's premium edge players. Hand in the dirt guy. He can stand up and attack that way, but he's better with his hand in the dirt. Really impressive all-around player. And it's funny because, a lot of the talk centers around the pass rush. I actually think he's a better run defender. I think he's the best run defending edge in football. He's better than Aiden Hutchinson. He's better than Myles Garrett. He's better than TJ Watt. You name it. Of all the guys who are also good pass rushers, he's the best run defender. He has 2 of the top 10 seasons in NFL history in tackles for loss. Those were 2022 and 2023. Ridiculously good on the edge. So zero worries if you get him that he's going to overplay and run past assignments, give up an edge. He is an elite run defender. He's probably better at that, actually, than he is as a pass rusher. As a pass rusher, he's good. Power to speed, has some bend, doesn't get outworked, relentless motor. That sounds a lot like Aiden Hutchinson. They're similar styles, honestly. Who wouldn't like to have 2 Aiden Hutchinsons? Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. He doesn't get as many sacks as I think a lot of people think he does. He had 10 this past season, which is actually one less than Al-Qadim Muhammad had, and had 7.5 in only 12 games in 2024. So he's not like this massive sack demon. The highest he's ever got was 14.5. That was in 2023. He was a first-team All-Pro that year. Had 23 tackles for losses that year, too. Just ridiculous. And, go ahead and try to name a Raiders pass rusher who worked across from him consistently. Did a lot of that on his own. And the idea of pairing him with Aiden Hutchinson, Aleem McNeil, Tyleik Williams, who quietly played really well down the stretch, with Jack Campbell behind him, with hopefully improve Derek Barnes, or maybe Alex Anzalone comes back. Who knows? But that would give the Lions an unbelievable front four, and that is extraordinarily appealing because you can control the game that way. If you want evidence of that, look at the Houston Texans and what they did in almost never blitzing and completely dominating both their playoff games. They beat the snot out of Pittsburgh. They also beat the snot out of New England. The problem was that C.J. Stroud kept giving the ball back and giving them short fields, and that's how they lost. Their defense was well good enough to win that game. You can get that if you got Max Crosby. And the Lions still have the offense. They don't have to worry about Jared Goff and C.J. Stroud. Ugh. Like C.J. Stroud, but that was rough, man. That wasn't his only rough one. So you give that's extraordinarily appealing. No denying that. And that would make the Lions a definite favorite to win not just the NFC North again, but probably be the number one seed like they were in 2024. I don't know if they go 15-2, but compete for that home field advantage. Probably the odds-on favorite. I don't know. Who knows what's going on with Seattle? I do expect the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl, by the way, but we'll see on that. There are some downsides to Max Crosby, though. And the number one downside is acquisition cost and opportunity cost. And this is where some people are going to see things differently and weigh or value things differently. This is an all-in move. And I know there is a lot of folks who want to be all in and go for it this coming year. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's exciting to think about. Let's just say they give up what Green Bay did to get Micah Parsons. 2 firsts and a third. First this year and next. Third next year because we don't have a third this year. And because Crosby isn't as good as Micah Parsons, we'll say that the Cowboy or the Raiders send back their pick at the top of the second round this year. So that would leave the Lions with pick, I think it's 33, 34 instead of 17. You still have your second. And you're probably going to have to, you know what, you'll probably have to send a fourth this year to do that as well. Just doing the trade math in my head. You can check your trade simulators, which are based on not a lot more than the stuff that's in my head, honestly, and a lot of them. Throw out that old trade chart, by the way, the Jimmy Johnson one. No. Rich Hill's the way to go. And I'll be straight. I haven't looked at the Rich Hill chart on that to see what it is, but that's about what it is because you're acquiring a guy who's already signed. Signed last March, actually. $30.7 million fully guaranteed in 2026. $29.8 million fully guaranteed in 2027. That's not technically guaranteed yet. It guarantees in March of this year on the third day of the league year. That's a fairly common clause these days in contracts that will effectively fully guarantee that. So there's no wiggle room on that. The final 2 years of the contract, 2028 and 2029, $27.3 million and $28.2 million. Those aren't guaranteed. There are mechanisms in there to get some of that money guaranteed, but this is basically you're getting Max Crosby for 2 years, at which the end of that time he would be 31. And then you either renegotiate or cut bait and take a massive cap hit, like something like that, which is fine. That's doable. The issue comes, who's going to play left tackle? Who's going to play safety? Who's going to play center, guard? Who's going to be your number 2 tight end? Who's going to be replacing Alex Anzalone and Malcolm Rodriguez? Who's going to replace the guy that you can't afford out of Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporte, probably 2 of them? Who's going to replace those guys? How are you going to get them? Because you won't have any money for free agency to get top guys of that appeal. If you could keep them, you would, but you can't afford to keep them. You're not going to be able to afford anybody better than them or comparable to them either, right? Like, that's basic common sense. And you can't draft. You don't have first-round picks to replace these guys. Taylor Decker retires this offseason. You got 2 second-round picks to try to get that guy, Max Crosby. He's good. You got more holes than what you have availability to fill those holes. Now, if you want to make the argument, and I would really like the argument actually, that because they're going to be so damn good on the defensive front that you can have some holes, you can let Anzalone and Rodrigo go and be okay playing more two linebacker sets, or, accept that Trevor Nowaski is LB3, or maybe Grant Stewart, although he's probably not going to be affordable as a special teams only type player. Plug in the D3, yeah, there are potential. The offensive line, though, because if you're going to have that defense, and you know that your back end is going to be somewhat weakened because of it, because again, you just can't fill the holes behind it with salary and picks. Let's say your first pick goes to offensive tackle. Your second one goes to offensive center, guard, or probably not tight end, but maybe that's where you pick up a safety. Maybe that's where you get a linebacker. That's kind of it. And you don't have another pick for a while. Till deep into the 100s. Got the same problem next year. That's tough. You've got to have the offensive firepower to keep up with that. The Texans are a great example. They couldn't do it. The Browns are an even more egregious example. They can't do that at all. They have the best defense in the league outside of Houston. Seattle's up there too. Seattle is sort of the model, honestly. They don't have the super premium pass rushers, but they find ways to get it done. Incredible secondary. That's how they're winning. By the way, New England's secondary is also better than its defensive front. They might be on to something there. There are many different ways to win football games. You don't just have to have the dominant front. You can do it other ways. But that would certainly give the Lions a whole lot of firepower. But again, the opportunity cost. Who's going to play these other spots? Where are you going to find these guys? You have to make now the decision, okay, like we're probably going to have to lose one of, this is a discussion for later on this offseason, Gibbs, Campbell, Laporta, and Branch. Already, you can't afford all four. You can probably keep three now. You bring in Max, you're losing another one. You got to go through the priorities on that. My personal take would be that Brian Branch is probably the most replaceable of that, followed by Jack Campbell. But that's certainly, I don't want to see Jack Campbell leave. He's fantastic. He's an all-pro. He's the best middle linebacker in football. He'll keep getting better, too. Like, I don't want to give that up. How do you replace that? You don't have premium draft picks to do it with. You don't have any money in free agency. That's the dilemma that you get if you push all the chips in with Max Crosby. I will bring up, because it's important with this franchise specifically, he was hurt, had a meniscus issue that shut him down, somewhat controversially. He insisted he could play. The Raiders said no. Very much seen as we don't want him to get further hurt to keep him, so they wouldn't get stuck with an injured player that's super expensive. Not a great way to run a football team, but it makes sense. I get that. Did have an ankle issue that he missed 5 games in 2024. Prior to that, he'd been on Iron Man. Just incredible player. Very, very durable before that. He is getting to the age where injuries, the minor aches and pains do pile up a little bit. You see that with guys like TJ Watt. You've seen it with Myles Garrett is a guy that's had some of that. TJ Watt back in the day had that. Jalen Phillips is another guy. He's been hurt a lot, but he's probably not the best example. Once you get into your late 20s, approaching 30, a lot of those like nagging injuries start to get Frank Ragnow-ish. He is nowhere near Frank Ragnow's thing, but that's the accumulation of all those injuries. It does take a wear and tear. So would I do it? I don't know, man. I kind of want to. Kind of do. It's tough, though. I'm also worried a lot about, did he peak already? I worry about what happened with Green Bay with Micah Parsons, where when he was on the field, they were arguably the best team in the NFC. But now they're not. He's out for, he's still on a scooter, folks. He ain't going to be playing early in September. They don't have any ability at all to replace him or other people that are going to leave that building because they also can't afford it. Do you want that? I kind of don't. Sorry, I don't. It's hard. It's hard. Now then there's the whole, is it a realistic thing? Would Brad Holmes do this? He's aggressive in the draft, going to get his guy. Got J-Mo that way. Got Branch that way. Got Gibbs that way. Don't tell me he's not aggressive, but aggressive in trades. They did go get Zadarius Smith. They did trade for Carlton Davis once upon a time with mixed results. Wasn't great here. Did okay. Yeah. But this is a move. And here's the other thing with it. There's going to be other suitors. Dallas is absolutely involved in this. And he's talked about, Crosby himself has talked about Dallas as a potential landing spot. He's talked a lot. He talks a lot. That has rubbed some Raiders fans the wrong way, just the way he's not going to be a guy who shuts up. That's sort of who he is. For better or for worse, that's going to work better in some places than others. It'll work in Detroit. I don't see a problem with that in Detroit. I don't. Probably plays better in Dallas, though. Dallas has all those picks that Green Bay sent them for Micah Parsons. If there's a bidding war, they win the bidding war. Think Sheila's going to outbid Jerry Jones for a player? Come on. Nope. And that's the rub. As fun as it is to talk about it and ponder it and debate it, the reality is the Lions, even if they want in, are going to have real competition for his services, and that only drives the price tag up and makes it more unlikely that Brad Holmes and this Lions regime would pull that trigger. And I think that's the right move, honestly. That's, again, the acquisition cost is very real. It's a real thing. It damages your ability to improve literally anywhere else on your football team. And I think that that's the way that the Lions are going to see it. And as much as I would enjoy making that move, sort of like the Pistons, if they were to get Giannis, it'd be fun. I don't see it happening, honestly. I just don't. So that's where we are with it. I have talked long enough today on Max Crosby. We're gonna table the prospect of the day. Spoiler alert, it's LT Overton. We'll talk about him some other time. But y'all enjoy Saturday. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Feel good about the Seahawks winning this one. I'm not going to do a Super Bowl preview. Again, we're Lions fans. It's annoying that we're not there. It's frustrating that we didn't even make the dance. But I do think Seattle wins. Jefferson, be good to one another out there.